It's your boy DZ. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Out of this video here is going to be the first video that I go live letting somebody else talk about how they feel a relationship should be, what they think about getting into a relationship, about being single, different things dealing with a relationship. But subscribe to the channel and share this video because it's about to be a lot more videos that I do. And I'm going to have a phone number up here soon, whereas though you can call in and you can talk and let me know how you feel about the topic I'm talking about. This is just the start. Now, what I want to know, right? In a relationship, now I'm talking to you, baby girl, right? You hear me?
I'm listening.
All right. In a relationship, what are you looking for from a man in a relationship?
Well, I obviously haven't found it. Or maybe I'm not looking in the right place, but the same things that I look for within myself, I'm looking for in a man. That's someone that is loyal, someone that has integrity about who they are, um, kindness, understanding, all of those internal things that we talk about and that makes up our character of, it's who we are, our substance. So when I'm out and I'm looking and I'm meeting someone, I'm of course wanting to connect on those core values. Somebody that can adore me. However, as life will have it, I normally meet up with someone that has maybe a few of those attributes that I'm looking for. They might be missing something. So that brings me to say to myself, like, oh, okay, I'm choosing men that are broken because obviously there is some brokenness in me. And it wasn't until I think last week that I came to that understanding of where this brokenness is coming from. And so now I'm looking for wholeness. And as we already said, it's very cliche, but in order for me to attract somebody that's whole, I have to be whole, right?
Okay. And and by you coming to this understanding, do you feel that it's easy to find what you're looking for or is it hard to find what you're looking for?
Hmm. That's an interesting array or a merit of all those different things that you're saying. I think that it's easy. It's easy to say yes to something that's attractive and you want to buy it. You follow me? Um, and then when you take it home, it's like, well, you want to take care of it. And I'm that person. Yes, I'm going to take care of that thing that I brought home. The question is it going to take care of me in return? Um, and everything that I want in a relationship, wanting a man, I know that that is easy. However, it's not a lot of, and I want to be careful about how I pose this question. I mean, pose this answer because I don't want to be one of those people like, oh, all men are this or all men are that. But we're kind of dealing with a pool of men that seems to not be as available to us. The pickings could be very slim due to many different circumstances. But then the flip side of that is that I could look for someone that has the same similar characteristics as I do. However, the universe, I believe in the universe bringing it together, is going to bring it together in such a time when I'm not even searching, I'm not even looking. But the universe does not forget what we've asked for. And one day it shows up when we least expect it. So that's the easy part, that one day it shows up when we least expect it. The hard part is this the time that is in between that are that we sometimes are, you know,
Okay.
deal like we waited a long time, and oh, we keep running into the same brick wall when it comes to relationships. And I feel like for me, what is that brick wall that I keep running into? And like I said to you earlier, it's because I'm choosing broken people.
Okay.
It's not that it's just what it is. It's not no judgment. It's just what it is. Everybody is carrying around some sort of brokenness, so you're gonna attract that. But if somebody is doing the work, quote unquote, that means the healing work, the shadowing work, um, and they're working on their wholeness, and then I'm working on my wholeness, then the possibilities of us meeting could be greater. Um, and so I was once reading a book that said, what you are looking for in a person, that same person is looking for in you. The mystery of it all is when that intersection is going to take place, where your lives intersect. So we'll see.
Okay. Now, do you think that you might have came across what you was looking for, but didn't value it and couldn't see it that it was there in front of you?
We all need tools, and sometimes you may not have the tools that are necessary to have a healthy relationship because you haven't been exposed to it. Um, and so, it could have been a time in my life where there was someone that had the qualities that I, you know, wanted in somebody, but then we wasn't on the same page, or they friend zoned me, or I friend zoned them. And so that's the tricky part of it, is that there are people out there that definitely have or check off a lot of boxes, but you may not be in a place where you're ready to receive them, due to, everybody has a preference, you know. Um, and so, again, um, and then the flip side of that is if it was supposed to be, you would be, you know. There wouldn't be a question or a doubt about it if there is someone that is supposed to be in your life, that's supposed to be in your life for the long term. Now, it's not to say that people that have come into my life or anybody else's life is not valuable. Everything is valuable. Everything is valuable. It doesn't feel like it at the time, but everything is valuable because you do eventually grow from it. The thing is that I think you have to apply what you've learned, and sometimes we don't always apply what we learn. We go back into the same habit, and that's why you keep running into the same brick wall. And like I said to you before, I don't put myself on relationship probation because you get sick of running into the same brick wall in your mind about certain things, about why you're attracting the same person, even though they have a different face, but you're attracting um, that part of them that is invisible, that energy, you know? And so I'm trying to, or I should say, I am working on shifting that energy so that I can bring something else into my life that is much more valuable to me, that is going to definitely um, be that longevity that I'm looking for instead of just the short term things that I keep accepting and signing up for.
Okay. Now, what I want to say to that is,
Mm-hmm.
what I have noticed in life is
Okay.
when um, some women meet like a guy that is there for them, and he's like
Mm-hmm.
really showing them uh, extra attention, and he's there for them, and he's doing over above.
I definitely, let me say this. Okay, so if a guy is doing more than the woman is appreciating of him, then of course I feel like that is unequally yoked. And what I mean by that is that they're not on the same page mentally, physically, probably, or even spiritually. Okay, because if you really care about somebody and you really love somebody and you really want to be with that person, you don't have to worry about that person taking advantage of you. And that person doesn't have to worry about you taking advantage of them because you have an understanding. Okay? It's not going to be no question about somebody it's going to be equal across the board. And so, yes, there are women that take advantage of men, and there are women that take advantage of women. You know, it goes part ways if that's what's happening. But remember, I told you, habit, habit. We created a habit. We created a showing up, and that's our past. You understand? That's
Right.
why they call it the conditioned mind, because your mind has been conditioned to and hardwired for these beliefs. So if you're somebody that keeps attracting the same person, even though they don't make you feel good and they taking advantage of you, that's because you have not changed that habit. You know, and
Got you.
sometimes people don't know how to change the habit, or it's like it's uncomfortable to change the habit. Listen, it feels good. Habits are good, feel good.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They do feel good.
Habits feel good. Whether it's good for you, it feels good at the moment. You know, it's a temporary thing where like it feels good, and then your mind is like, okay, just one more time. Go to his house just one more time. Sleep with him just one more time, and then again, the program. Here it goes. Go back to his house one more time. You know, sleep with them one more time. It's like over and over and over again, repetition. That's just why I, who work with children, teach them how to build up their mental faculties by habit over and over again. How did you learn multiplication? Over and over again. You did choral counting with your teacher. You wrote it down. It was a habit until you hardwired that brain. And that's what we have done over years. You figure 47 years, what's that, like 20,000 days? You know,
That's a lot of days.
that's a lot of days of you doing the same thing over and over from a child. You know,
Right. Now,
it's programmed. Your body remembers that. So that's why it's very, very hard for people to break habits.
and you know, what I want to ask is, right? So when women are in relationships and
Mm-hmm.
women are married or in serious situations,
Mm-hmm.
why do they want to celebrate when the relationship doesn't work out and they claim to be happy to be single again? Are they really happy to be single, or is it just something that they're trying to put a show on for?
I think it can be a mixture of both. It just depends on who the woman is. You understand what the personality of the woman is. But let me tell you, deep down inside, it hurts. It hurts.
Okay.
Whether you wanted the divorce or not, it's going to hurt. Okay? It's going to hurt one because remember, you're breaking that habit. Okay?
Right.
That hurts. So even though it, I mean, just think about it. A person that has been with somebody for a long time and y'all done the same things. There's times that you've been happy. There's times that they've been, you satisfy each other's needs, and then something happens. You know, somebody steps out. You understand, and you are hurt about that. But guess what? You accept that man back or you accept that woman back because your body cannot, for the most part, you haven't created a new habit. That's why people can't stop smoking. You understand? It's the
Yeah.
habit of getting the cigarette, putting it in your mouth, going to the store. It's the program. That's why they say sometimes, or a lot of times, you should take a different way, drive a different way, because you created that habit of like, you know, every day, but you want to switch it up because you got to trick your brain. The brain works for us and it can work against us. And so you just got to know when it's working for you and you got to know when it's working against you. And if you don't, then you in deep trouble.
Deep trouble.
Deep, baby. Deep trouble. Listen.
So
It,
in relationships, right? Now, why is it that women want to throw a divorce party or the separation party? Why is that?
Well, I think that at the end of the day, there, you know, it could be because everybody else is doing it, that is trendy. Um, it could be like, trust me, for the public, it's like, oh, I'm celebrating this, I'm celebrating that. But when the lights go down, the clown that came to town. Okay.
Right. So
Mm.
you said women really don't like being by themselves.
I'm speaking from my point of view, and I'm speaking from the point of view of being a woman and being a human. The human emotion is that people want to be together. You want the touch. You know that there's a study out that says like that people like the human touch is what keeps some people alive for a long time. You understand? That's
Okay.
why, like, if a couple has been together for a very long time, they could have their fights up and down, whatever the case is, but they still together, and one passes on. The other one eventually, shortly after, passes away with them. You understand? It's because there's that human connection that they've had, the human touch. People want to be touched. Babies, we want to hug. We want our kids to hug us. They get older, but we still want that hug from our kids like when they were children.
Okay.
That doesn't change. The human touch doesn't change. And anybody that tells you they don't want to be touched and they don't want to be caressed and they don't want to be held and they want to be single for the rest of their life is not being honest. They want to be single because they've been hurt and broken.
Okay.
And that pain right there is a lot to bear sometimes. But however, if somebody came along with a new program and they found somebody with a new program and knew how to treat them, then yes, oh baby, they celebrating all day long. I'm
Oh,
telling you what I
okay.
know.
Now,
When the
now,
lights is out.
okay.
Now, I'm not saying that there's times that a person may want to want to do something by themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand? Because it's almost like you be yourself. You need to be yourself and have your own identity for sure. But
Right.
life is much more grand when you're with someone that shares many of the core values that you have. And it's interesting because it's like I something came to my remembrance when I had listened to this song. I listened to a song. It had a couple in the song, and it made me think like, oh my goodness, like they look like they're living a charmed life. You understand?
Okay.
It looked like it was easy. They looked like they celebrated each other. They were a reflection of each other. They were happy. They were successful. They looked like they were supportive of each other. And so you don't think people don't want that?
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they do. They want that. They want somebody to come home to that they get along with, that is their friend, not only just their friend, but they call their best friend. Um, the thing I like to say is that if you're not going to hurt your best friend if you're not thinking about you're going to treat them just as you treat yourself. Now you treating yourself like crap, then yeah, you're going to treat the person next to you like crap. But if you treat yourself well, you're going to treat that person you with well.
Okay, now, what is the deal breaker in a relationship for a woman? Like when they're with somebody for a period of time, what is a deal breaker that you think most women can't deal with?
It depends on the woman, because some women, even though they may know that their husband is a serial cheater, they still, for various reasons, stay. You know what I mean? Like, yo, they stay because, or they turn a blind eye to it because, one, they might have businesses together. There's life insurance. You follow me?
Yes.
There's medical insurance. You
Yes.
know, people not leaving because they on their wife's insurance or she on his insurance. You understand?
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Most of the time, like, yo, for various reasons, and people leave for various reasons. You understand? Some men, they stay married for 30 some years, but baby, trust me, they done had plenty of affairs.
Okay. So
I'm not saying that's all men. I'm just saying that there are scenarios out there that are like that.
do
They
you
stay because it's comfortable. Look, I remember one time my mom said, I had said to her, I said, yeah, a certain person had relocated or whatnot to another state. And then next thing you know, they had, shortly after, I'm gonna say, they had gotten married. And I was like, oh mom, I said, this person got married, such and such, such and such got married. And she
right?
said, oh, honey, he needed a place to stay. you know,
Damn,
and listen,
that's deep.
she said it just like that they need. And I'm not sitting here saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not sitting here saying I'm judging because we all been saints, we all been sinners, we all done did stuff, we all done been in the light, we all done been in the dark. Okay,
Okay.
got it. Now, how long do you want to stay in the dark is the question.
Right.
Okay,
Now,
how long? And some people just get comfortable. We get comfortable with things. It's like it's better to stay than to leave, or sometimes it's better to leave than to stay. It really just depends on the circumstance. It's tailored differently and it looks differently for everybody. That's why it's very hard for me to say I cannot sit here and be the spokesperson for women. I'm not.
now you the spokesperson. You are the
I'm
spokesperson right now. And
I'm
tonight's call, you the spokesperson.
I'm
Whoever is on the next call, they gonna be the spokesperson. But right now,
Right, right. Well, I'm gonna say I'm the spokesperson for myself. You
okay,
understand? Like I'm the spokesperson for myself. I'm speaking from my own experience, but there is a common denominator. You understand? With people, there's a common denominator of men. There's a common denominator of women, and so you just got to know what category you fall in.
are
Are you a category one, a category two? That's why they got different hurricanes and that are different categories. Now, what category are you? I don't
okay.
know.
All right. Now,
Okay.
do you look at it and think all men are cheaters?
No, I don't at all because there are 9 billion people on this planet. Okay.
Okay.
Do I think that the man that's somewhere, somewhere in the third. Listen, I'm trying to tell you. Listen, it's some serious things happening in the world. Is that his main thing? And he got to think about running water. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think all men are cheaters because some are living in a hut, and that's all they listen. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just trying to say, let me just bring it on back to North America. Hold on, 'cause I went to another continent on you. Hold on, Will. Oh,
So
hold
now
on.
listen.
I don't know if all men are cheaters, okay? But I'm gonna say this. I know one thing: all men like to have sex.
Okay. So if you
Okay.
think that if they're in a relationship, right, and
Mhm.
the person that they're with is rationing them the
Mm,
sex or withholding the sex,
mhm.
do you think they should wait or do you expect that person to cheat?
Baby, his mind is gonna lead him out the door to the grocery store. He's going. He walking the aisle. You think he looking for a snack? He is. He is looking for a snack. Okay, and it is in the form of a woman. Okay, listen. If a man is not releasing with his woman, he is releasing somehow. He's looking at porn. He's masturbating, or he's out there getting it in with another woman, whether or not he's married or not. So if yes, he's going to go out there and he's going to get some because by nature, a man, it's like the way that men are designed. It's like um, they have to have that pleasure.
So now that you say this, right?
Hmm.
And I want to say, like, because there's women out there that are proud to say that, excuse me, they're proud to say that they're withholding sex from their man. Like, Oh, he's not gonna get none tonight. Oh, he ain't getting none of this. Would you say for that woman to expect her man to look somewhere else if you want to play those type of games?
Eventually, he will because he's being deprived, of his sexual needs. Unless he's a very disciplined man, and
And those, there's not a lot of them, I don't think.
yeah, he got to be a very, I mean, very, very, very disciplined. And I mean, I don't know, because that's a very, very tricky question. Again, if she's with,
Might have he might have cheated before, or
okay,
he might spoiled her to be a certain way where she feels that if she doesn't give him sex, he will do certain things for her. Um, because she's controlling with the sex.
and I mean, they're gonna have problems from the get go. Then, if it's cheating is involved, controlling is involved, affairs are involved. Those things all hang around in the same company. So you got to look at the personality of the people, number one, before you can even, like, make an assessment of what's actually going on. If they known to be a cheater, they gonna always pretty much probably be a cheater. um Again, that's why they got the show Cheaters, and that still come on. When that came out, 1996.
Yeah,
Cheaters is
it
still.
came out in the
It
night.
depends on what do you want. What category do you want to fall in? Do you want to be a part of that or not? Do you want to honor the person that you're with? And that's why I said it takes a very special type of relationship that's going to have an understanding that they really, really respect each other for who they are. Now, let me say, life goes on, people evolve, needs change. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
chapters of life change. Okay,
Okay.
now you would have to talk to somebody because I'm not privy and I don't specialize in no relationships. I just know what my own have looked like. However, you would have to talk to someone that's been married for a very long time, to get insight from them. Um, I'm just not privy to certain things, and I cannot sit here and make an assessment about certain things that I don't have experience on. You know, I
Okay.
just have experience on being in relationships that were very, very much, you know, they had a cap on it. They had a time cap on it. They lasted maybe, a couple of years. There was no marriage involved. So it just really depends. I don't know. I only specialize in what I have experienced along the way.
So now, why do excuse me again? Why do all women look at marriage as the goal, but quick to say, "I'll"?
So let me dissect the question. So you're saying women
All
always,
women they want to be married, right?
okay, want to be married. Got
But
it.
when they get there,
Well, we married. Okay.
it's like you're gonna have rocky situations, but
There's rocky situations.
divorce is at the top of the list when it's like serious. Why is that?
Again, I'm not married. That's going to be one of those questions that will have to be posed to somebody that is married. I have no clue, but I'm just saying, like, of course, the idea of being married. Remember, I said
So
people
why
want
do
to be
women want to
together.
get married then?
People, women, um, one, a program. There has been a program that has been indoctrinated into the minds of people. And it's not to say that marriage can be a beautiful thing. And then the flip side, marriage can be an ugly thing. You understand? It can get ugly. Um, it can be both. It's the flip side. It's the dark. It's the light. And nothing is wrong with being married under the circumstances that it is a beautiful union and you work together to make it grow and nurture it.
Correct. Not
You
all
have to
women want to be
nurture your
married.
marriage. Hmm?
I got somebody on there saying not all women wants to be married, and I
Yeah,
definitely understand that.
yeah. And so again, that's why I said when we say all capital AL, and again, I don't speak for the general census of women that do and women that don't. I can just say for myself, okay? When you look at someone and you go to a wedding, there is something that pierces your heart. And at that moment, you want that to be you, or you feel like, oh, that would be, you start visualizing yourself in the wedding dress and walking down the aisle, and what would that life be? Again, a person that says not all women want to be married, then you'll probably have to talk to that woman that said, I don't want to be married. And then you keep digging and getting to the bottom of why doesn't she want to be married? Did she see examples of people that were married and it ended ugly? So that would turn anybody off. Like, hold on, my heart can't take that. My heart can't take, certain things. Everybody's not cut for certain circumstances. Hey, you get married, and then next thing you know, you find out that this nigga a serial. Like, I can't. Like, you
He's a
gonna be like,
serial
oh my
what?
god,
Cheater?
where the hell?
It's some
I
crazy
don't
people out
know,
there.
huh?
It's some crazy people in the
There's
world.
some crazy people out there. Yo, listen, married today, divorced today. It is crazy people out there. So listen, you could be getting, as I heard them say, you might want to be married, but you could be getting Satan's son.
Right?
Listen, you could be wanting to be married, but you could be getting, I don't know, Satan's daughter.
Right,
I
because it's some women that's out there like the lady off a thin line between love and hate. They're a little crazy sometimes.
Come on now. Now let's take it to this step. Now, you got to know you're crazy.
Okay.
Listen, you got to know you. We all got that switch.
Everybody has the ability to be on the other
Listen,
side.
we all got that switch. Everybody got a booming point.
Okay.
Okay. Some people, I think that it's like cliche, 0 to 100 real quick, or it'll take a minute to get there. The
Right.
way you reacting to certain things. You may not go there. Everybody you got to know yourself. Like, ooh, they get angry real quick. They temperamental. You got to know. I always say
Yeah.
you got to know. You got to know when to ask that good question. You got to find people in a good mood. You know, people that got married probably was in a good mood, and then they got in a bad mood, and now they divorced. I don't know.
So now, this is what I want to ask, right?
Yeah.
In a relationship, do you think that it's better for the couple to live together or live separately?
Like I said, ooh, you gotta, okay. Some people might. Now you saying we married?
Listen, it could be married or um, just in a relationship dating. What do you think? When you
I
date,
mean,
you should be
traditionally, people get married, they move in together. That's the tradition. That's the custom, of being married.
so that's the
Um,
program.
it's customary, yeah. Now you can step outside of that box and you can do something different. You can say, "Hey, we're married, but he lives here, I live there." I mean, that means you need a green card. I don't know, you know.
So do you think relationships can work with two people living in different households?
Again, it depends on the people. I mean, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, but I don't know. You got to know what the temperament of the person is. I mean, do you want to, if you're married and you're deeply in love with your wife, do you want her living in another house and you live in another house?
I mean, for me, right? I just think that I'm not at the stage in my life where marriage is on the menu, right?
Yeah. Okay, so say you at that stage now. You at that stage in your life
If I'm
that
at the
that
stage of life and getting
you
married,
ready.
I would want my wife to live with me. Yes.
There you go. I mean, it doesn't at this point in time. I mean, if we live in separate homes, now let me say this: there are people that find creative ways, okay, to give each other space while being married, okay,
Right.
and I saw that in like a documentary where there was a couple that did live together, but every now and again, like the wife would she would go stay in their let's say their second home or whatnot, to give the space. That's why like some men have the man cave, you know, or the she cave or whatever, because you do want to give each other space. Like I said earlier, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder, they say. And so at the end of the day, we take advantage of each other. You take advantage of what is seen in front of you every day.
Okay.
Okay. Now, people including. So you know when it's that family member that moved away, they did something different with their life. You don't see them every day. When they come to town, everybody's excited to see them, right?
Right.
It's like, oh my God, because you ain't seen them in a long time. You have not, for the most part, took that person for granted because you saw them every day.
Right.
Does that make sense? So that's the
That's
tricky part
makes a lot
about
of sense.
it. Makes a lot of sense. Every day you're seeing the same person for you want to see something different. You understand that's why people take vacations. Oh yes, we like don't get it twisted. Appreciate where you live, have gratitude for what you have, right? You get to come home, you got a nice, comfortable, warm home to live in. However, every now and again, you want to step away and you want to see something different so that when you come back, you can have a deeper appreciation for what you got. You like, oh my God, I'm glad. Like, I'm glad that I went on a trip. But listen, you were glad to be home in your bed after you've been there on that vacation for 7 days.
So, do you
So
think
you
by people being so, excuse me, like clingy next to each other, does he think that that cause a lot of discrepancies in households?
absolutely everybody has to be their own individual. Like everybody has to operate and find their thing, you know, and then come together. And then it's a thing, you know, where we're doing our thing together. So yes, like that's why some men they have the hobby of they go bowling, you know. Um, some men play golf, you know. Women go on retreats. They have girl trips. Men have guy trips, you know. Um, and then you come back together and you're happy or bold, and then there could be a great. You know, again, it just depends. I'm not saying that this is a solution to people deeply loving each other or wanting to stay together for a long time. But there's different tools out there, different coping mechanisms that people have to try and find out what works for them. That's why they got different religions because everybody's not going to fit under the same religion. You
Okay.
understand? But at the end of the day, the principle and the foundation is the same. It's just that somebody might set it a little differently in a different tone, and you were receptive to how they said it or how that preacher preached it.
Okay.
That's just
So now I want to ask, if a person is in a relationship and the other person goes on a vacation, do you
mhm.
think that the person should allow their partner to enjoy the vacation, or should they be constantly calling the person like they're monitoring their vacation?
Okay. So now I'm gonna ask you this: why am I monitoring his vacation? There's
Maybe you
something.
have some insecurities.
Absolutely, I'm insecure, and guess who made me insecure? My husband.
Okay, understandable. But
My husband made
if
me
you
insecure.
know that your husband is that type of person and you're with that person, even if the man knows his woman, she's a little frisky on the other side. When the person goes on vacation, I think personally that they should have that space, because that's why you went on vacation, so that you can separate yourself, so when you come back together it's exciting to see the person and talk.
For sure. But before you can even do that, it's like what happened, what is going on before I went on that vacation, like what is going on before my husband went on that vacation, is again the foundation of a relationship. Because if I know without a shadow of a doubt that this man is faithful to me, he has shown that to me, and I truly believe that. Because see, this is the thing, we don't know what nobody is thinking,
Right.
only through our actions, right?
Right.
I can't wholeheartedly sit here and say to you that every time my husband has gone out, like it, going out to on his man's trip, that he's really like hanging out with his boys and he's on good behavior. I don't know if there is any man out there that's like that. I'm sure that there is, but I don't know.
What about what you don't know don't hurt you?
Oh shit, that's
How do you
what
feel
I
about
don't
that?
know. Let me say this. That's tricky because what I don't know can hurt me.
Well, you don't know that he did something, but you might be searching for it because you just got that what they call woman's intuition.
And I think that this is why women probably say they don't want to be in a relationship or they don't want to be married, because it's too much to keep up with. It's too much what ifs. What is he doing? There's the mind working against you. Is he seeing somebody else? Because you see it in the movies. You
Yeah.
see it in real life. You see it with the celebrities. You see it with your mom. You see it with your mom's friend. It's over and over again. It's been, for the most part, it's been embedded into our psyche. So you doggone right, your mind is going to think that.
And listen,
Trust me.
when and it's the same way for a man when he's in a relationship, right? And he's with a woman and she's over extra with male friends, your friends, different males, and just saying, well, that's my boy and that's my cousin. Don't you think men look at it like she just too frisky and too happy with these people? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really don't want to be with something like that.
and that's when you can go the other way, because you're right. You have no, like, the thing about it is that, the research, we don't always do our homework. We don't always do our research on people, you
Right?
know. Um, and then we get with somebody, and then it's like sometimes it's too late. Like, oh shit, like I didn't know he did that, or I didn't know she was into that,
Right?
you know. And then we blindsided, and that's where it becomes, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm taking a break, or I'm this, I'm that, because you've been hurt. Okay, the damage. Now you
Right?
got to repair yourself. And so, yes, you're right. Like, again, there are different categories of men out there, and there's different categories of women. And I like to say the caliber of man that you're dealing with, the caliber of a woman that you're dealing with. Like, what type of man are you? What type of woman? And sometimes we put the cart before the horse. Okay, we jumping out there into the frying pan, and then we got burnt. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just saying that everybody has done it. It is just the way it is, until you get tired of getting burnt,
So
you
now,
know.
what is the ideal man for the woman? What is the woman looking for in a man?
I'm gonna tell you one thing. She probably looking for her daddy.
Okay. Okay.
That's where they get the daddy issues, mama issues, because if there is not any type of blueprint of what a man should be to you, then you're just out there kind of like, you free falling, figuring it out. But again, let me just say this. Let me back up, because there are great men out there. There are great women out there as well. It's the both. It's equal. And but everybody makes mistakes, and that's what sometimes I think that we forget, that people are human. People have emotions. People make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. We get all of that. Um, but it's just it's a lot to be a human. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like, you really have to do, like a job. Like, you really have to interview people, but we don't always do that. Like I said, we don't always do that. We see somebody, we're attracted to them, and then the sexual part of it comes first because it's very, it's like when you're sexually attracted to somebody, that energy and that momentum kind of takes over. Okay, and if you're not disciplined, and we're not always all disciplined because we like that, that sexual gratification. So it's like very
So
hard.
with that, you saying that there, would that be a reason why a lot of women fall for guys that don't have their stuff together?
I mean, because the package, the outer package looks good. Your body. Everybody's visual creatures. You know,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and so you like how something is packaged. Okay, you like how it looks. You like how it smells,
Okay.
and that sense. The six senses that we have. Taste, touch, smell.
That can blindside a woman from
Yeah,
making sure that the man is stable.
yeah. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Yes, that right there is something else. That's the
Okay.
addiction. That's the addiction.
So women don't look for stability when they first meet a man. They're looking at the appearance,
It depends. I mean, you meet on attraction, right? You want somebody physically attracted to,
right?
and that physical attraction, like your body is going to tell you if there's a physical attraction. Okay. Now the power could be in you saying, "Nah, that's the discipline. Nah, I'm good." And you go the other, even though you could be attracted to the people that you're running into. Like everybody that you find attractive, you're not going to get with them. You can just find people attractive. It doesn't mean you're going to go jump into bed with them.
Right?
You just might be like, oh, they're really nice looking at that, but you keep it moving. Everybody. Now you just a serial dater or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. You know. Um. Again, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, women choose and pick who they want to be with, and like,
So do you.
yeah, I mean, women choose who they want to have sex with, and
Mhm.
men choose who they want to marry.
Yeah.
And this is a fact because
Um.
a woman can say, I'm gonna give you the sex. No, I'm not gonna give you the sex. But
Mhm.
you gotta have a man to accept you to
Mhm.
marry you.
Mhm. To marry you, to want you to be the companion, like
Yeah.
it's just every. I do believe what you just said. Like I find that to be very true. It's like um, the men pull the trigger on this thing. They decide, and some women can decide if they don't want to be in a relationship too. Let me say it can go
Right.
both ways. I can say this thing can go both ways for sure. It's just the thing where it becomes challenging that is if you want something and then they don't want you, or you want them and they don't want you. That's where it could be like, and it's just it's just
I
a
just think
lot.
it's more acceptable. I mean, women are more acceptable to dealing with a man, as in if uh they're waiting to get married to him and they're thinking like, okay, they'll go through more things and deal with more things if the man is promising them, oh yeah, we'll get married, and they be
Oh,
like, well,
he
you
just
told me you were gonna marry me, so they'll
by
deal
this
with
time
more.
he done hooked her with the penis.
Right.
Okay, she done got hooked with the penis. She done got hooked with the passionate kisses. The attraction is real. So he has no plans on marrying because it shouldn't. Again, this is it's circumstantial. Everybody's situation is going to be different. But then, like I said, there's a common denominator in a lot of these situations. There are some people that can. they can have sex on the first night and then they together for years, you know. And there's some people
Yeah.
that been have a one night stand and it was just that, a one night stand, and everybody went their separate ways. There's some people that can date for. Oh, now I'm not saying they didn't have any ups and downs in the meantime, in between time. I'm sure they did, but they weathered the storm. They stayed together. They nurtured the relationship. I really don't know, you know. So you just really don't know how it's going to go for you, or for a person. I think people just take a chance, they take a risk, and they're going to see if the risk pays off,
Right.
and then sometimes people stay too long, and then it gets spoiled, because you're waiting for it, somebody to end it, and you still in it, and then it just never ends. And that's why you're like, oh, we've been together for 30 years, but it wasn't, they might not be happy. Or 30 years, are you still laughing? Are you still having a great time? Are you still in love with this person? I don't know.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know. It's some people that break up and then they get back together and it's stronger than ever. Like, it just depends. I'm telling you, it depends on people, places. It depends on things. Um,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
a lot.
listen, it's a few people that are famous now that are going through that they was broke up and they got back together, and
Hmm.
I think sometimes when people meet each other, they might not be ready to be with
Hmm.
that person at that time, but they are meant to be because they have a certain kind of chemistry. But excuse me, but they got to get certain things out of their system
Hmm.
before they are able to settle down in that situation.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
because
true.
some people look at it like they think because when they meet somebody on site and the chemistry there, it's just supposed to be a hit from there, and everything is supposed to just go to the moon from there, and we're supposed to go to the stars together. When you got different situations that you go through to define the relationship.
That's true. And that's just the mind traveling, It's mind traveling because I think people, for the most part, they feel it depends, like, oh, I don't have tomorrow, I don't know. There's nothing guaranteed, They start living out the fact that, and I'm not saying this is the best, for it does, and then it's like you 6 months later, you like, oh man, like I could have, like, look at what I'm in now, and that just depends. It really just does.
Okay.
And no, it's like no one snowflake is the same,
So
and that's the same with
so now
relationships.
I want to ask this: why do women stay in unhappy relationships?
If a woman stays in an unhappy relationship, I'm sure that it has a lot to do with the fact that it's a habit that she has created. She could feel like, one, there's nobody else that she can find, um, that is going to accept her. It just, I don't know. Oh, let me say this. Staying in an unhappy relationship, what does that look like? Tell me what an unhappy relationship looks like.
Where you see arguing,
Arguing, okay?
they're fighting, they're both
Fighting,
cheating, uh,
cheating.
they're miserable at home, they don't want to be around each other, but they'll say that I'm in a relationship.
Yeah, they don't know what the definition of a healthy relationship is. Um, and that's clear, you know. And then people have created, like I said, they are living out these childhood traumas, and that's another topic. That childhood trauma that we talk about, that we hear about, doesn't show up until your adulthood.
Okay.
And so all of those things that you were exposed to growing up as a child, the way your parents talked to you, the way your parents treated you, just different things, that trauma, whatever that trauma was, that shows up later on, because then mind you, not, the program is still there. That's why they say, like, we are like the most intelligent people on the planet. You know, our mind is very intelligent. A computer is a dupe of our mind because all of this stuff has been downloaded into our memory, into our files. Some stuff we don't even remember. You know, like a song, an old song from way back when, and then one day it just kind of pops up in your head, and you're like, oh man, like I remember that song. That was it was deep down in the files, you know, and then it came up. So that's another thing about relationships. You know, how was your mom treated? You know, um, how did your dad treat your mom? Was it one of those things where you didn't see your mom being married, and so then you just have a revolving kind of relationship? You know, different men. You know, or the relationship only lasts a couple of years. That's the pattern. Every 3 years, you're in a new relationship. New relationship. Uh, these are just different patterns, like I said, and some patterns we may not even be quite aware of until we really do the work and find out, like, okay, well, why is it that my relationships aren't lasting that long? Why is it that somebody over here can be in a very loving relationship? They know how to talk to each other, they know how to care about each other, they adore one another, you know.
Yeah.
And remember, we live in a world that's really like upside down, so a lot of stuff that we're seeing in the media, when it deals with relationships, people are living their relationships out online, so you got to look at that, you know. That's depressing. Like, that's not going to make you believe.
Do you think social media puts a strain on the relationships in this day and time?
Social media is a tool. People already had the strain on the relationship before social media came around. It just magnifies it.
Okay.
You know, people already had these issues.
Okay.
They didn't just all of a sudden have these issues because now social media is there. People been fighting. Now you just see it online, and now you see a concentration of it.
Okay.
People been had all of these issues. These issues just didn't appear because, oh, social media's here. These were issues that were already there. They had already manifested. Social media just became a platform for people to showcase what they are dealing with in their life.
Okay. All right. Now listen, man. I just want to say I thank you very, very much for sharing your opinion on this topic here that I had on my mind. And
Yeah.
you were very helpful, and I love the insight you gave. And, this here is the start of the channel starting to do in calls, and I really appreciate you. And to my subscribers, it's going to be more to come. This is the start. This was a great conversation. And I want to let y'all know that it's not about the setback, it's about the get back. Now.